Thomas. Just want to give you a little recap over the last couple of weeks of what we've seen and what we have identified and what we are doing about what we've identified over the last couple of weeks. So 2 weeks ago, I asked the citizens of New Orleans to assist us in locating a very violent offender. Uh, we needed your help as the community. We needed you as the media to assist us in locating this individual. And in doing so, with the help of you, the media, with the help of our citizens, with the help of our federal partners, as well as Kenner Police and our VOWS unit, was able to locate Mr. Darren Boykins. Darren Boykins was wanted for the shooting, a multiple shooting of 5 individuals on Bourbon Street a few weeks ago. In locating him, he was arrested for a shooting that occurred within hours after the Bourbon Street shooting in the 6th District. So I want to thank the community for doing just as we asked them to do. If you see something, say something, and they were able to assist us in locating this individual along with our law enforcement partners from the metropolitan area. But now we're looking for a second individual involved in this same shooting, and that would be his brother, Darrell Boykins, who is accused of also shooting multiple victims in this same incident. So if you know the whereabouts of Mr. Boykins, Darrell Boykins, that is, please contact our 8th District investigators at 658-6080 or Crime Stoppers anonymously if you choose to do so. Thus far in 2021, City of New Orleans have experienced 77 homicides, going against 58 same time last year. As of today, the solve rate for homicides is 57% compared to 35% all of 2020. 2 weeks ago, there were 4 homicides in which 3 were cleared in that 1 week. Last week we had 5 homicides in which 3 also were cleared. Despite this significant increase in homicides that we have seen or experienced here in the city of New Orleans, the caseload has increased significantly on our detectives, but they've remained vigilant. They've stood strong. They continue to solve these cases, and they've solved them quickly. So I want to commend the men and women of our homicide division for their quick response and dedicated work. Just yesterday, our 6th District officers arrested a 16-year-old for the murder of a 14-year-old that occurred on the 2700 block of LaSalle on April 19th. During the month of April, our VK unit assisted in 12 arrests in crimes from auto burglaries to carjackings to homicides. VK also assisted in removing as many as 16 guns from the street, 13 handguns and 3 rifles. So far this year, our department has made 191 gun arrests. These strong solve rates and arrest numbers should be encouraging to our citizens. For those who are wondering, what is it that we are doing about violent crime? We are continuing to make the arrests as necessary. I want you to know that we as a department remain vigilant. We remain engaged in the fight against violent crime. Our officers are where we need them to be, those identified hot spots where we know it is prone to criminal activity. But some of what we are seeing is beyond a police prevention, and that is domestic violence, acquaintance cases. We are seeing individuals that may have personal relationships that are having, I guess you would say, disagreements, but they are unable or either unwilling to solve these issues peacefully. We have seen many acquaintance cases, more than what we've seen in the past, as well as domestic violence cases, result in violent resolutions, even homicides. Much of the criminal activity we continue to see is disturbingly brazen. Day or night, crowded areas or quiet areas. The individuals committing these crimes are committing these actions as though they have no regards for authority, as though they feel or know there are no consequences to their actions. Just this morning, we had to investigate an incident, a shooting, in which an adult male shot another male multiple times. And immediately following that shooting, he discharged his weapon several more times near a school. Thank God, no one in the school was injured. And our victim of the shooting currently is in critical condition. 6th District, I want to commend 6th District officers for that quick apprehension of this individual and the weapon. So that individual has been arrested and will be booked accordingly. Yesterday, we had a victim picking up her kids at a school in which a 15-year-old jumped into her vehicle and fled the school with a 1-year-old infant in the rear of that vehicle. 7th District officers were able to locate this individual with the assistance of citizens in the 7th District. And I want to thank those citizens, and I want to thank our 7th District officers for their rapid response. We were able to locate that vehicle, locate the 1-year-old unharmed, and this individual was arrested. This 15-year-old individual was arrested for this carjacking. So we as a department, we will continue to do our part to bring justice to those who decide to commit these violent crimes or who decide to break any law. But we're also asking our partners to do their part. And our partners range from not just the criminal justice system, because we cannot do it alone. We would not be able to just arrest our way out of this situation. There are more partners to this issue as well, and that is our community. That is the parents of many of the kids that we are seeing actively engaged in some of this violent criminal activity that we have experienced over the city of New Orleans over the last several months. So today I'm issuing a challenge to the parents to please come forward and step forward and do your part in addressing the issues. Know where your children are. Know what is it that they are doing. Be active and engage in their lives so that we, on the criminal justice side, do not have to engage with them in a negative way. None of us want to see our children going to jail. None of us want to see our children going through the criminal justice system. But there are consequences to your actions. And just as I've challenged myself and my criminal justice partners, I'm asking the same of our parents to do the same. Take a look in the mirror and determine and decide what it is that you should be doing to make this process easier for everyone, to make our way of living, our quality of life in New Orleans safer, because we all have a part. And as my grandmother and my mother used to always say, it does in fact take a village, and we have to understand that. The New Orleans Police Department will not and cannot do this alone. Arresting our way out is not the sole solution, and I will continue to say that. So with that being said, I'm going to ask our citizens, if you, as always, if you see something, say something. If you have information on individuals committing crimes, please do not hesitate to call. Call your local district or call Crime Stoppers anonymously. But nevertheless, give us the information so that we can address the situation. And with that, I'll ask Gary if they have any questions. Anyone have any questions?
Superintendent, we've heard from a lot of residents saying that kids seem to be a really big problem here, especially when it comes to carjackings, car thefts, things like that.
Yes.
From your perspective, does it seem like the juvenile aspect of this is a bigger problem this year than it has been in past years from what you've seen?
We have seen an increase in juvenile criminal activity over the last year, and I think what possibly may play a significant part or role or have a significant role in it is schooling. Schooling was different, virtual versus physically in attendance, and I just do not believe that our kids were engaged in schooling over this last year. So they had more free time, and that's all I could really say to that. I think that we just had too much time. Our kids had too much time on their hands.
Chief, you had said that individuals committing these violent crimes have no regards for authority, and that they feel that there are no consequences to the actions. Are you specifically referring to juveniles in
So I think it's juvenile as well as adults. I mean, you think about it, we have not really had a jury trial since spring of last year. So in not having any jury trials, our accused are not given the opportunity to go through due process. So if they're not going through due process, what you're seeing is a revolving door in which individuals are being released on either a low bond or no bond. So if there's a low bond or no bond without any consequences to their action, now they feel that they've gotten away with something. And we have to stop that as a city and let them know that they have not.
Superintendent, so
Mhm.
we realize that there's some resources out there like the juvenile or evening reporting center, I should
Yes.
say. Do you feel like that's an effective tool for juveniles to rehabilitate themselves?
Yes, I think, you know, I have said this time and again. Incarceration is not the answer. I think as a youth, you do have an opportunity, even as an adult, you have an opportunity to be rehabilitated. But we have to have protocols in place to ensure that they are doing their part in rehabilitating themselves. So that evening reporting center is definitely a resource. I mean, again, even with not being incarcerated, if you use an ankle monitor, something to hold them accountable to say, hey, you're going to be here instead of there, to ensure that they're not re-engaging in criminal activity.
Superintendent, can you give us an update on the 7 teenagers that were in that stolen pickup truck?
Yes, so as of today, as of right now, it's what I do know is that 5 of the 7 have been released and booked in JJIC, and that is the 5 males. The 2 females are still currently in the hospital.
Last question?
I have one more question.
Yes.
When it comes specifically to that shooting on Bourbon Street, I know people hear Bourbon Street and they get a little scared. We've got a lot more visitors now. Can you tell me how that arrest came to be? Was it a public tip? Did that person turn themselves in? How did you guys find that?
It was a cooperation with the community. That person did not turn themselves in. Our VOWS unit worked with Kenner Police Department as well as our federal partners in locating this individual. So it was all a team effort with regards to our partnerships with our law enforcement partners as well as our community. So thank
All
you.
right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You guys have any follow-up? Just